Hello and welcome to the Jumoke Idemi podcast. It's a great day. And today I have with me a very wonderful personality that I love and respect. And I'm so excited that she's on the show with us today. I have Mrs. IBUKUN, AWOSIKA, with us. Welcome to the show, ma'am.
Thank you. Pleasure.
It's such an honor to have you on the show today. And we just go right in to the show. There's a lot of people who know you and have come to know your name, you know, your profile and everything. Today we're dealing with the topic, the woman and her assignment. And I know it's something that you're passionate about. So we're going to be looking at the balance between the woman herself, her assignment, and her family. So our first question to you today is, a lot of people who don't know you have asked, what's her background? I mean, like, it was just like she just showed up, but nobody just shows up. What's her family background? Was her educational or professional background? We got to hear her name because I know that you are someone who is relevant both in the marketplace and in the church. And when you became the chairman of First Bank, it was just like a boom in some people's eyes. So, people have this assumption that people just blew out of nowhere. So if you don't mind, can you give us a background? Where you're from? What's your professional background? What's your family background and stuff like that? Can you tell us a bit about yourself?
I was born and raised by a Nigerian father and a Cameroonian mother. And my grandmother was my primary carer for the first few years of my life.
Wow.
Because my dad had gone to England when my mom was pregnant with me.
Wow.
And after she had me, I was less than a year old, my mom left to join her husband.
Oh, wow.
And they left me and my brother with my grandmother. So I went to a nursery boarding school at a very early age, at like age 4 or 3 or something like that, until my parents came back.
Okay.
And then my family was reunited. So I had primary school in different places between nurseries, in primary starting in Ibadan. And then my father's first job was with UAC Farms in Niger State in Minna, going to primary school for about 2-3 years in Minna. And then we came to Lagos. Eventually, I went to Methodist Girls High School.
Okay.
And then from Methodist Girls High School, I went to Ife, University of Ife, now Obafemi Awolowo University. My first degree was in chemistry. And after my chemistry degree, my plan to myself then was to work in an accounting firm, become a chartered accountant, go and work in a bank. But
from chemistry, though?
Yeah.
So you just loved accounting?
Well, it was something, I went through a whole process. I'm trying to keep it short. I went through a whole process in my mind of, I wanted to be a doctor, then I wanted to be a lawyer, and then I decided I wanted to be an accountant. And so from my part 2 in university, I used to take free electives in accounting and administration faculty while I was taking my chemistry degree.
Okay.
So I then decided I wanted to go and train in an accounting firm. So I went to Akintola Williams & Co., which is now Deloitte. I did my youth service with them and discovered I didn't really love accounting like I thought I did. So by the time I was done with that, I decided, no, I don't want to do that. I still want to work in the bank, but I don't want to become an accountant anymore. So I came back home. I served in Kano. I came back home post-youth corps, and my first job to keep myself busy whilst waiting for my bank job was in a furniture manufacturing business.
In Kano?
In Lagos.
In Lagos, okay.
So I went to that company. I worked there for only 3.5 months. But in those 3.5 months, I discovered that I actually loved that the creative part of me came alive. And that I wanted to be able to build furniture, but with a different set of values from the one that company operated with. So that's how I started my own business. I was 25 going on 26.
Wow.
And that's how I started what led to the Chair Center Group and everything
Chair
else
Center Group,
associated
yes.
with it for the last 36 years.
Wow.
So somewhere in the middle of doing what I do and doing it well, I then started being invited to work on boards.
Oh, wow.
So
at that early age as well?
No.
Oh,
this
further
was
out.
now further out
Okay.
in between. Of course, I'd gone back to school many times along that route. Went to ESA Business School, got an MBA there. Before then, I'd gone to Lagos Business School, did the Chief Executive Program at Lagos Business School, went to ESA, got an MBA, and was always in school, doing one thing or the other. And by now, I'm in my early 40s. And then I joined the board of Cadbury.
So just to be clear, between that time when you started your business and when you were 40, you had gone to school twice.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'd gone to school a few times. I always did a number of short courses. Then I went for a full MBA, executive MBA program at ESA Business School in Barcelona, Spain.
Wow.
Before then, I'd gone to Lagos Business School to do the Chief Executive Program.
Wow.
And I don't know, somewhere again after that, I went back to take what is called the Global CEO Program, which is a program, a joint course run by ESA Business School, Wharton Business School, and China European International Business School.
Wow.
So, plus, I've been back to school like God knows it.
Yeah, because from what you're saying, you've been back to school a number of times. Yeah. What was your motivation?
Knowledge. Personally, I love
self-development, knowledge.
Yes,
and stuff.
I love to be informed. I like to have information at my fingertips. I do not. I'm a firm believer that everybody brings value to the table. And I do not want to be part of a team where I am the stumbling block because I don't have enough information. Especially when you're leading teams. You don't want to lead a team from an uninformed position. You're going to get in the way of great things that can happen. You will kill right innovation, ideas, or contribution simply because you don't understand it.
Wow.
So I like to always get myself informed.
Wow.
In order to.
Did you always, because from what you're saying to me, I'm getting to see that you're a person who has zest for knowledge. You pursue self-development and stuff like this. Did you always see yourself as a leader? Was there something in you that told you yes, I'm a woman, but because you went for your MBA and all that?
Yeah. Parts because, you
just see yourself as an individual.
I was raised by a father. We were mainly girls in my house. Okay. We have 2 boys.
All right.
But my dad raised us to believe there was nothing we couldn't do. I don't think he ever remembered to say there were certain things that we couldn't do because we were girls. So it was simply a matter of giving you the environment to express yourself. And I remember when I started my business, considering every young woman who graduated in the 80s was finishing school, doing youth service, and then the next thing, your parents want you to get married or get a job in a bank or any of those things.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to go into manufacturing, which seemed crazy. First, it was a seriously capital-intensive industry. Where was I going to find that kind of money? Why didn't I just follow the traditional route? But my parents, both of them, to be honest, were very accommodating of my ambition, my curiosity, and my adventure. And I remember the first set of work I did was at the back of my parents' house. I hired my first
for your furniture.
Staff. Yes, for furniture. I had my first upholstery team. I had the carpenters and then I had the upholstery team. The upholstery team was working at the back of my parents' house. And the carpenters were working in some uncompleted house next to my chief carpenter's house before we then got a proper workshop in Bakwajao. Wow. So it was really that. And I remember then, if I was doing a project till very late at night, and I needed food for my workers, if we're working overnight, my mom would cook in the house. My dad would help me bring the food to the factory so that my staff would be able to eat. And then if I was in the factory till 12 midnight, my dad would come and pick me to take me home, because at 12 midnight, a girl, where was I going to find transportation to try and get to?
At this point, were you married though?
No, I wasn't.
Okay.
I wasn't yet. So really, I'm grateful for very nurturing parents
yeah, same
who
here.
allowed the space of expression and the adventure. I remember when I took my first large loan for my business. This was now about 4 years into my business. It was clear that I needed to buy some capital-intensive machines. Nobody was going to give a loan to a young woman. I was still in my 20s at that point and all of that. And one of my customers, now I was married, but I was newly married. I was pregnant with my first child. So one of my clients who had taken to me because he had 3 daughters, saw me and said, "You don't look yourself today." And I said, "Well, I'm working so hard, but we just can't meet up with all the things, opportunities we have because I don't have the right equipment and nobody's going to give me the loan and all of that." Anyway, this gentleman asked me to come to his office, sat me down and said, "What do you need?" And I stated what I needed. And he said, "Look, do you know a finance company that will take a deposit from me and use that as backup to give you the facility that is."
Wow.
Luckily for me, over the period of the 4 years, every time I needed money to execute a project that I didn't have enough, I was going to a particular finance house to take expensive money in order to execute the project. But I always did it and I always paid their money on time.
Wow.
So I built a track record there. So I went to them and said, "Look, I have this opportunity. Are you able to work with this man for me to get the loan?" And they said, "Yes, because we know you'll pay." So they spoke to themselves. The man gave them was 1993, but this was 1 million naira in 1993. So the guy gave them the 1 million naira.
93?
Yes.
That was a lot of money.
Yes. So the guy gave them 1 million naira. They gave me the facility of 1 million naira, obviously with interest and everything. I had to pay every 90 days part of the capital and the interest, and they were paying him his own interest on his money. And the thing is, by the time I finished, it was 15 months after, but buying the machines which I did with the money allowed me the opportunity to compete for certain kinds of jobs. And so in 15 months, even though I was paying every 90 days, when I finished one particular project, I went to them and said, "How much do I need to pay off?" But because there was a period in Nigeria by now 94, interest rates really were crazy. It was between 40-something to 70% for finance house interest rates at that point. We had a major crisis.
And you were paying that?
I didn't have a choice. It was a matter of, this is a business. I wanted it to grow. I had now you have all these microfinance, you have grants for entrepreneurs. It didn't exist in my time.
Wow.
And so I went to them with interest and everything. Even though I'd been paying every 90 days, I still had 942,000
immense discipline
naira to pay. So I just took all the money from this project. They paid me as final payment. Went to them, paid off. I had no money, but I had a factory and the equipment. Now, the real thing I wanted to bring out there is, my dad, when he found out I took the loan, 1 million, had said to people close to him that, "Mobi, which means, I gave birth to this one, but never told me." And they just said to them, "If she can't pay and she gets stuck, I will sell my house and pay the money."
Oh, wow, what a
but
father.
He never scared me, never told me I should not
do it.
Did not. When I now came and said I had paid off the loan, that's when I now knew
what he had
position
said. Wow.
So really having parents creating an enabling environment and the kind of voices you hear makes a difference to your ability to be adventurous and be bold to do certain kinds of things.
On the back of just what you said, that gives me an inkling to ask, what would you say to, a father who is watching right now and who has girls? You talked about enabling environment, what it is that the child hears and stuff like that. There were things that your dad did. Funny enough, my dad was like that as well. We had 5 girls. They had 5 girls and 3 boys. And my mom taught all the boys everything they taught us, how to cook and all. And then my dad also ensured that we, the ladies, did stuff that, he didn't differentiate to say, oh, because you're a girl, you couldn't do this. Even when I wanted to go to the uni, and I went to ask him, what would you have me read? He said, no. What do you want to be? So I'm so grateful for, even at that age, to have parents who were like that. So what would you say to a father who is watching, a young man who is watching, probably who would have girls in the future or who has girls right now? What lessons or what advice would you give to people like that in raising their girls?
Well, first is that every child is a child. Gender is something no one controls. And honestly, I'll call it foolishness as parents if we decide to treat one different from the other, because you really don't know who they will be.
Yep.
And the world has seen female presidents.
Yes.
Well, wouldn't their father be proud of his girl because of who she is? The world has seen female CEOs of organizations, chairmen of organizations, and all of that.
It's even in this season. That's what
their
we're saying.
fathers be proud of the girls they have? The world has also seen men who sat in different places, but has also seen men who you wouldn't want to be recognized or identified with you. Same as women. So it's really about understanding that every child is a child and a blessing to you. Because some don't have any. So you better be grateful for the one you have. And two, what you get out of them is what you put into them.
Wow.
So
what you get out of them is what you put into them.
If you nurture a girl right and you support her right, you will get a girl that would deliver outstanding and amazing things. If you do the same for a guy, you will get it. And some, you give everything and they just do the wrong things. We all pray our children don't do that. But frankly, it's really about giving every child an opportunity to be the best of themselves in the world. Because you're not their God. You really don't know which one of them will give you the best return for your investment.
Wow. What a word. That was the word. You spoke about how you got this loan and how you were able to, use the loan to build a factory,
No, I used it to buy
equipment.
machines.
Yeah. So, you got a factory, but with all the interest rates and everything, that would have been a lot of discipline. A young lady who is starting her business now, who believes she has an assignment, she believes she has potentials and she sees a great future. What advice would you give? Because in our days now, people want to buy wigs, they want to do things that are trending, blah, 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 blah. What advice would you give about a woman's assignment right now and her future? Based
to be honest,
on,
it's not different from our time. It's just maybe the toys we're buying. No, the toys we're buying are different. It's really about you understanding what is important to you.
Right.
So I would say, like, in our time, when I was building the business, I didn't buy a car.
Okay.
Why? I was already in a highly capital-intensive business that required so much money that was not available because it was not a time that banks weren't giving small businesses, especially not a young girl who wants to go into manufacturing, money. So I clearly understood that I had to grow organically. And growing organically meant I had to reapply the resources to the growth of the business. So for all of those early years, I didn't buy a car.
Wow.
I would charter a taxi.
Okay.
And pay per hour for the efficiency of I'm going to a meeting, I need to be able to finish the meeting, get in a car, get out. I would charter a taxi, pay for the hours that I need. If the taxi breaks down, it's not my problem. It's the taxi driver's problem. I would charter another one and go. So I'm not running all the overhead. So car was not my priority. Buying the machines for the factory to function was my priority. And at the end, is the machines that would generate money.
Right.
Where I would get the profit to then buy a car. So it was really about staying focused on what I considered important and allowing the most important things first. there's what you call delayed gratification.
Right.
It is delayed gratification is about you understanding what is truly important. Identifying your priorities, applying your resources to the priorities in the right order. So that at the end, you can have a sustained growth.
Right.
And you can build sustainable wealth. So that, I believe, were the decisions I made. That ultimately, it paid off.
Right.
Because by the time I bought a brand new car, I had built a head office for the Chess Center Group.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
I did. I bought a used car first after a few years. Used that for as long as was possible whilst I was building the business. The next car I bought was a used car as well.
Oh.
Because it was more important for me to buy a brand new machine than a car.
That's an asset. This is a liability. Right.
It was simply that. And at the right time, it was not a bother to buy the car. Because then you're spending from your excess rather than from capital you required. So it's really understanding what your priorities are and applying your resources in the right order.
Getting your scale of preference right.
Yes.
Wow.
Very important.
Thank you so very much, ma'am, for this time. Don't go away. We'll be right back in the part 2. In part 2, we're going to be talking about the woman's assignment and her family. Thank you so much. Have a great day.